And today I am here with Kirsty Lilith, and Kirsty Lilith is a animal communicator and divine channel, and she's got such a fascinating journey. We've just been chatting before we've come on to this interview, and blown me away to the fact that she's actually a mechanical engineer, or was, still is, of 25 years. And we were just talking about how on earth you go from that world to our world. So I am sure that you're all going to enjoy this journey. And like everything else that you watch on my channel, everybody has an amazing story, amazing experiences that we've all gone to where we are actually at this time and this day. And it still doesn't stop. We're still having them. We still get all the information through. So welcome, Kirsty.
Thank you, Melanie. It's amazing to be here to be able to chat with you today. And like you say, we're all on this journey. And it's only when you look back and you think, oh my God, I would never have been able to, in a million years, predict where I was going to be today compared to where I was, how I started off. It's just incredible.
Definitely, definitely. So if we go then from how on earth you did go from a mechanical engineering degree and career for all that time. So where was the jump off? Was it gradual, or did it just
No,
happen?
yeah, my lot, they're not into the kind of the gradual stuff. And I mean, my guides, they're more a throw her off the edge of a cliff kind of
Right.
people. So I noticed they don't go for the subtle. They go for the big gestures.
Right.
So it happened in 2014,
Okay.
where I now know the term spiritual awakening.
Yes.
So I've always known I've been different, and right from being a child, never kind of fitted in. I suppose I think we all can relate to that kind of
Yes.
story. But had the conventional lifestyle, went to university, had got a corporate job, was married, all of that stuff until 2014, when my whole life all ended up in a pile of rubble, where I had a mental breakdown. Uh, while I was in the middle of the mental breakdown, only a few weeks afterwards, my husband walked out on me and kindly said he didn't want to wait until I got better. So he thought he might as well do it while I was still ill and get it.
Wow.
No, so considerate. um, but yeah, it was just fantastic. The having that all, I never expected it. We weren't, there was no signs or anything of all of this, but it was the breakdown came on because of bereavement that I'd had the previous year and a lot of pressure at work, and it just all builds up.
Mm.
But that flattening of my life enabled me to go from the path that I was on to the path that I'm on now. I didn't realize at the time the goddess came in. Carly came. She flattened my life very kindly for me, but then she was there to help me rebuild it again. And it was during that recovery that I got introduced by a therapist that I went to see into the angelic, the REIKI, the shamanic world. So that kind of opened up my journey. So it started in 2014, and then my guides seemed to want me to, that they were permanently kind of pushing me to, I think they wanted me to fast track through wherever they wanted to get to. So I did, trained in Reiki, crystal healing, then into the mediumship, animal communication. And it was just pushing the whole time to get me to where I am.
It sounds like you were very much fast tracked.
Yes. It was none of this like steady progress going. It was just kind of constant. And then, but it all works out.
Yes.
And it gets you to, and everything's an evolution. Um,
Yes.
I haven't stopped growing, I haven't stopped evolving. That where I am now is just a point in time.
Mm,
Uh, I'm so excited about what the future brings and how I continue to grow and evolve.
mm, yes. So when you say about obviously like the animal communication, so when you trained for that was obviously like that you were meant to be able to do that. That's why we always end up being we
Yeah.
train even though we know like eventually we know that it was already there and it was an innate gift anyway.
Yeah, the animal communication came a lot. I didn't know animal communicators existed, but it was only when me and my horse went to a new yard, and then the owner happened to mention that an animal communicator was coming on the following week. So instantly booked on. One of my first questions out of the mouth when meeting her was, "Do you train people?"
Right.
And she hadn't even left, and I'd already signed up for that. So uh, it was just, it felt really natural to me. It combined with the mediumship training, because the mediumship training, even though I don't do mediumship
Hmm.
now, that gives or gave me such foundations, because it's getting that validation when if you're working with somebody and you're bringing through their spirit loved ones, it gives you that validation, which gives you that confidence in what you're bringing through. And that was what I needed, because where they wanted me to go was where nobody was going to be able to validate what I was getting through. I had to know what I was channeling was correct. So the mediumship helped me with that side and with the animal communication side. So when I'm working with domestic animals, I obviously have owners, so they can confirm whether it's right what I'm
Yes.
getting. But I work an awful lot with wild animals, and so there's nobody that can validate what it is that I'm getting. So I have to work completely on trust and
Hmm.
confidence in
Yes.
myself, because I would say half of my work is working with the wild animals, which has been absolutely amazing.
Wow. So I know a tiny little bit about the whale story, tiny bit. So would you kindly share that and elaborate on that because it sounded amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, my animal communication kind of journey changed in 2019 when I'd been working with domestic animals. All of a sudden, wild animals started showing up to me when I was sat there about to do my work for the day, just would open up my energy, and I'd have a lion there, or I'd have a polar bear. And all these animals just were constantly coming in, wanting help, wanting guidance, wanting assistance in some way, all energetic. And it was in 2021, I happened to be sat down ready to start my work, and I just opened up, and there was this massive humpback whale just came in, and I was like, wow. So he asked me to connect with him. So as I did, he then showed me like the earth as like a globe, like we were kind of in outer space kind of
Yes.
thing. And then he showed me all these groups of whales all around the world, and as being connected by these webs of light. It was just the most amazing thing. And I could hear in my head all the different kind of dialects, the sounds, the tones, the vibrations of these whales as we were all connected in unity, in harmony. And so when he finished that, he then said, "And I want you to come and find me." And so I went, "You want me to come and find you, one whale in an entire ocean?" And he just said yes and then left. So, yeah, not a man of many words, that guy. So I was just sat there in my room going, I don't believe that just happened. But I did manage to track him down. Amazing. I just opened it up to spirit. I said, look, you're going to have to help me. Don't even know what ocean to start kind of looking in.
Yes.
And just got guided to reach out to somebody in America. She then guided me to somebody else. And she happened to be running a retreat in Moorea, which is near Tahiti in French
Right.
Polynesia.
Wow.
And she was running a 2-week retreat for swimming with humpback whales. And when I looked on her website, as you scroll down, and you know this, when you suddenly get that hit, and I was like, oh my God, that's my whale.
Yes.
And he's called Nagual. Or the Americans, they pronounce it much nicer than me, Nagual, much
Right.
posher.
Yes.
and, and I come out with my British accent, yeah, Nagual. So then I knew who he was, and he is the communicator of all whales, and yeah, this massive avatar being, huge cosmic powerful being that has come forward for us at this time, and it was him that started me on this journey. He wanted connected with me, and he wanted me to go and swim in the Pacific Ocean with him and all these whales.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So did you actually do that then?
I did. I have to say, my story comes across very idiotic now. Some people refer to it inspirational. Yeah, some people might think more idiotic. I flew halfway around the world to go swim with my whale, and I hadn't even swum in the ocean before.
Really?
Yes. And I just poled up like and all the people on the retreat, they had been swimming with whales, with dolphins for years. But so curious, the woman that ran the retreat in all the year leading up to the retreat where we'd been communicating had never once asked me what my experience was until we were actually on the boat on the first day. Tiny little boat, by the way, just like a fishing boat thing. It only fitted 10 people plus the captain.
Really?
So yeah, I was expecting something a little
Mm,
bigger.
yes.
Uh, and we're in the middle of the ocean, and then she chose to turn to me and go, "Have you swam with whales before, Kirsty?" That was a conversation that I don't think anyone on the boat will forget.
Oh, well, obviously it was meant to be because maybe, like you said, if she thought you were a complete novice, she might have said, "Oh, well, this isn't for you." It always happens the way it's supposed to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, I completely understood why she was the one that I was meant to be with, because nobody else on this planet would
Mm,
have let me in that water.
mm,
But she was very not the most grounded of people, we would say. So she was all up here, and so actual practicalities and stuff, and killing various members of your retreat, drowning in the ocean. That didn't kind of really come into it. So that was, I understood completely at that point. I was thinking, yeah, because nobody else would have let me in.
mm,
I can swim, obviously, but the whole complexities of swimming in the ocean, oh my
mm.
God, anybody else would have done research, would have trained, would have got fitter. Oh no, not me. Just follow my guidance and then wander around and thinking, oh, I'll be fine. And never even occurred to me. But to me, it was meant to be for my journey
Yes.
because the amount that I was triggered in those first few days, and particularly the whole of the retreat, or the judgment that came up for myself of like, what an idiot, and that I was going to be a liability, going to let everybody else down in the group. All of that had to come up for me to process.
Mm,
And as you know, that it's only certain situations that will trigger you. And putting me in that extreme situation did trigger all these emotions. So my journey and my healing journey, that really did evolve just through that experience, because I was completely out of my comfort zone. Uh, I had to, just the physical aspect had never even occurred to me. I thought that the boat would go up to like where the whales were. I could like wander down a ladder or something into the water float around looking at the whales, climb back up the ladder onto the boat. No, that they dropped you nearly a mile away from the whales, and they didn't realize the water was really rough. It was like being in the middle of the channel. Some days the waves were like something out of The Perfect Storm.
Wow.
I was thinking, I am not going to get back alive in this. And so swimming in that rough water with miles of water underneath you,
Yes, yes.
never been in the deep water, obviously. Hadn't realized that a lot of people have panic attacks just
Mm,
because of that depth that's
yes.
below you. Didn't help. Sharks swimming past you. But I'm terrified of the ocean because of sharks. They didn't say anything in the brochure about sharks. They just said whales. So having to deal with the sharks as well as the swimming and then getting to the whale, but looking at the whales, swimming with them. Oh my God, that was just such an incredible experience. It was just breathtaking every single day being in the water with them.
Mm,
It's and hearing the singing,
yes.
uh, and all of that. The babies, we were swimming with quite a lot of the babies, and it was just magnificent.
So they're majestic, aren't they? And they're
Mm.
huge. It was like,
Yes. I know there was little me, big whales, and yeah, just oh, they were immense. But to see them in their natural
mm,
environment was it's something that I will never
mm,
forget. So I am very grateful for the whole experience and for Spirit totally pushing me out of my comfort zone because to experience something like that
mm.
once in a lifetime.
So what happened? Did you obviously you made contact with the whale?
Yes, he was with me the whole time. It was so amazing when I was setting off to go to Tahiti. He came, he came into my energy field, and I'll never forget his words. He just went, "It is time to dance, you and I." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And each day he came in as I was kind of getting ready and said what he wanted me to do to lead up to the mission that we were doing, and then what followed on from after that, because I work very much with the divine feminine and the divine masculine,
Hmm.
and what he wanted us to do and what we had pre-agreed millennia ago
Hmm. Yes.
was um he was going to be the divine, well, he is the divine masculine, but he was the divine masculine channel. I was going to be the divine feminine channel. And as we kind of came together, it was, as you'll probably be aware, the divine masculine is birthed through the divine feminine.
Yes.
So they needed the divine feminine vessel. And then it was about birthing the divine masculine back onto this planet. So yeah, it took me a long while to get over the enormity of when they first shared what I was going to do. Yeah, it took me a while. Didn't have that long. He said, "Okay, take your time. You've just got a year." So, um, so I had to get through over that. And as you know, it's about us getting out of our own way.
Yes.
And so I had to just let it be and think, well, if they've got faith in me, that who am I to argue with them?
Mm.
But yeah, having to own up to kind of the enormity of what it and what if you failed? What if I screwed it up? And all of that kind of had to come up to for me to look at and to process.
Wow. Like you say, the thing is I'm sure a lot of people watching this will get it that do what we do and are on a similar path. Other people that may be starting out might look at this and think, wow, we're absolutely mental. But I'm sure we're very used to that. But like you say, this is what happens. It is part of the journey. Even though, like you say, it puts you out there sometimes and you really do question yourself. But one of the biggest things is trusting the process, isn't it? Completely trusting the process. So it does seem a bit mental at times, but this is the journey, is to go with it.
It is completely. It's that whole trust and surrender. And I said to my guides afterwards, I said, there has to have been thousands of people on this planet that were far better equipped and trained than me to be in that ocean swimming with the whales. And it was nearly like they came back and said, yeah, but there's not many idiots that would have followed our guidance and just gone and done it. I was like, yeah, you got me there. Because it is, you got the capability, but having somebody that will trust in that guidance
Yes.
and do it regardless,
Mm.
and carry out whatever they said. It was like, oh, go to Tahiti. Okay. Do this. Okay then. And most people, they, yeah, they have a bit more self-preservation about them.
Mm. Yeah. I I know exactly where you're coming from, and one of my I'll call her my mentor, who I had the experience with that I was telling you about before we were starting, and she is now 90, I think she's 98 now, and she didn't start her journey till she was about 50, 55,
Wow.
and they sent her all over the world. And when she was in her 70s and 80s, she was still traveling to Antarctica, and like they would just send her everywhere, like you just said. They say, right, okay, go here, and off she that's what she'd do. She'd off she'd go. So like you say, people that are on this path and have a true connection like that, it is part of the process. And a lot of the times, even though it does seem crazy or a bit mad, but it is pretty amazing and
Yeah,
awesome, isn't it, at the same time?
it is completely. And it all works out.
Hmm.
I think what I've been able to experience over these last couple of years, just amazing. So to me, we get something out of it. We get to experience these amazing things that yeah wouldn't come up normally. But it does. Even when you, I find surrender's just phenomenal. Even though you surrender, and I consider I'm pretty good at this surrendering process.
Yes.
But there's always deeper levels in which you can surrender and what they ask you to. I found it doesn't really get any easier. You're having to con let go and just surrender. And it's something that it's just doesn't automatically come natural. I think as humans, we have inbuilt into us this need to control, even just a little bit.
Yes.
And so it's amazing that in following divine will and divine guidance to keep on surrendering and just letting go.
Mm. So what happened after then? Obviously, you had your experience with the whale, and you did what you did. So when you came back, when you said it like, did you have to integrate all of that?
Yeah, it was 42 days of integration for me personally. When I came back, of obviously stuff all settling in. As you'll be, most of the time, we're not aware of kind of what's
Mm,
going on. I just got told it was going to be 42 days, and just to allow that, I had to do a closing ceremony with Nagwal and with the water here that I've been working with, just to kind of like seal it
hmm.
all off. And then he came in with his next like, wise bit of information, going, I want you to write it down. I want you to do a book about our journey. Um, so again, being an idiot, I went, oh, okay then. So that was in, I think, the November. I got back in back end of September from Tahiti, and then in the November started kind of writing it, but only kind of started writing it last January. Then again, the guidance comes in, get a publisher, go. And so I was guided to the publisher I was meant to go to. And it's like that they kind of corral you in,
Mm,
and it's to a point where there's no return because
yes.
them being with a publisher and committed to
Mm,
dates, and I'm committed to actually writing the book, because it was then at that point when I was meeting with the head of the editing department, and she said, "Yeah, I like your book. It's really good, but I think it can be better. I think that it would be better like this." And I'm like, okay, all my guides are going, "Yes, that's the book that we want you to write." And so her suggestion, which was, see, the whole plan all along, was to guide people, to help people to basically, I suppose, live like how I do, in connection with the divine, and then use my whale story as an example of how I've had to walk that path. Because I feel if you're teaching and guiding and stuff, you've got to be able to demonstrate that you've walked it,
Yes.
and that you still have all the same issues, the same as everybody else does. And so when she was like, "I want you to teach, and then I want you to show by example." And I'm like, okay. And so I was chatting with my guides, and then all I got for months, I would say, "What do you want me to teach about?" And he went, "You'll figure it out." That was it. Most unhelpful, I found.
Yes. Been there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was all I got. So I have to say, last year it was I have reframed it now. It has now been the most incredible process.
Yes.
At the time, it was the most uncomfortable process, because I did not know what to write about. I could understand the concept, teach, demonstrate, teach, demonstrate. But then when kind of like May came, I was traveling quite a lot for 3 months with other stuff that they wanted me to do. So I wasn't getting the time to be able to write. Plus, I didn't know what to write about. Things kept on coming in about the concept of kind of like teaching about different aspects of how to live in this particular way. But then again, no kind of inspiration was coming through. The deadline at the end of August was getting much closer. And when I came back from Africa in mid-July, I thought I only have about 6 weeks to write it. I still had all clients booked in. So I started then by writing a paragraph, say in between clients. If I had half an hour slot, it would be a paragraph here, a paragraph there. So disjointed, didn't know if these made any sense, how it all fitted in. But I just got told, just keep writing in these little gaps. And then I got the guidance to start setting my alarm for 2 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
I have to say there was a little bit of resistance on that one. I like my sleep. But I did. And I have to say it worked well. So about 3, 4 times a week, I'd set my alarm for 2 in the morning, and I'd get up and then I would write. And that was how most of the book got written. All the channeled chapters, because the ascended masters and goddesses came in and they wanted to be part of the book, and their chapters got channeled in the middle of the night, as did the main bulk of the teaching kind of side of it, as I call it, got done at that time in the morning. And yeah, it did work, which was amazing. But again, even when all this stuff was coming in, it was all so segregated. I had no idea how it all flowed together, or if it did flow. But my guys just kept on saying, just keep writing, don't worry about the bigger picture. And then it was only when I had kind of enough word count that it was okay. And then it was like a jigsaw trying to fit things together. And it was amazing. It all did slot into place. It was phenomenal. I say my guides looked very smug at that point.
Oh wow, what a process. That's just absolutely amazing. So obviously your book is out now and has just been launched. So congratulations on that. I know that you've got a copy there if you want to hold it up.
Yes, right. Beautiful book. Well, it's all behind
Wow.
the camera, but so pleased with the designer that did my book cover. And just there's something so special about seeing your own book in print, and all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into creating this. It's such an amazing emotional experience when first got the copy of my book. And I think, my goodness, I've done it.
I think as well is because obviously to the fact of over the years, the amount of research and books that I've read, and I'm sure you're the same, is off the scale.
Mm.
But when you do get a book that has been divinely channeled and you've been given all of that information, you find as soon as you hold it, the frequency of the book itself is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because all of that information is basically like a light technology that is coming from above, from the divine, from consciousness, the universe, obviously your guides, the way, everything, the amount of energy that would have come through you and what has gone into writing and scribing that book, the energy itself. So when people come to read it, it's not just the words on the page, it's the frequency that the whole thing itself holds for people. And especially like you said, that obviously you've got ascended masters that are within that. So normally a book like that, and I'm sure that yours is going to be no different, are off the scale. And it's just a piece of amazing light technology that has a massive activation for the person. So watch out, people, when you get this book. I'm sure that it's going to change your energy, obviously for the good, to put it on another level.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's beautifully said, Melanie. And the Nagwal has channeled the closing of the book, and he was saying that he has embedded codes, the light codes and stuff within the book.
Oh,
And at the
I've
time,
gone all goosey from head to toe.
yeah, at the time I stopped channeling and was like, really? I was like, wow, oh my goodness. And
Oh, yes.
yeah, my lot are all going all kind of crazy, that it just is that confirmation that it isn't just my words.
Yes.
That I think I'm just um, chatting about whatever. It's that the power that's behind it, behind all the channeling that goes beyond our world, our realm.
Most definitely. Yes. And like I said, this is how it goes, doesn't it? You know, we've not even discussed this, and this is the connection to the fact of obviously the information that the words that come out of my mouth, and then obviously with what you said about the end of the book and what you were told, and that just like always blows me away because, like
Yeah,
you say, without even discussing it, that is just utter confirmation that what this book holds. Oh, I just love it.
it's just amazing. When I think I was just supposed to be writing a story about my journey with the whales,
Yeah.
and then what it's turned into, uh, just phenomenal.
Oh,
I'm so
wow.
grateful that they chose me to be the vessel to be able to bring this into existence.
But it's like we say, you know, to the fact that you will at some point in time will have already planned all of this, already agreed it, already had your contract signed, sealed,
Mm.
and done. And the fact you come down on earth, do the normal things in life and go to school and get like you have your mechanical engineering degree and go down the normal path, the normal route, till it gets to the stage where obviously at some point in time they've said, right, okay, this is where it stops and this is where it begins at this
Yeah,
age. And this was all preordained, all like divinely guided, and you need to do this to go on to the next level. And that's how it works, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
it just, I always say this with everybody that, you know, that I come into contact with, and synchronicities that happen and people that are placed with you, in front of you, wherever you go, the other side of the world, and the right person is always there.
Mm.
And I always smile, and I still shake my head in like disbelief. It's like, right, okay, you've done it again. Just amazing.
It's phenomenal. And then we still question this whole divine
Yes,
timing business.
yes. So now obviously your book is out there, and I can't wait to see the comments on my channel when people have got hold of your book. And please, please, when you've read this book, put the comments on the experience that you will have, and 100% you will have an experience, because this is going to be, like I say, it will be an activation for a lot of people because of the high frequency of this book and how it's come into to be. So I'm going to be looking forward to reading all of those. And the thing is with this is obviously that's just a small bit now. Now the book is there. So are you still doing one-on-ones with people's pets, or are you going to somewhere else? Where they, do you know where you're going with everything? Have they
Yeah,
told you?
yeah. They've already been starting going on about the next book. I'm just
Really?
parking that at the moment. I was thinking,
Right.
look, let me just bask in this, this energy at the moment. So yeah, on a day-to-day basis, I still work one-to-one with both people and animals, the domestic
Hmm.
animals, and then with people, just helping and supporting them on their journey. I'm so passionate about giving people their authentic voice back, whether like people or animals. I kind of classify them all
Hmm.
the same, about helping them and guiding them on their journey. Uh, when I came back from the whale, I had a lion waiting for me, and I have to say, much more helpful than Nagwell. He said, he said, come and find me. But he did say, I'm located in South Africa and I'm located in this conservation place. I was like, oh my goodness. So he far more descriptive than Nagel. So it was last year I went off to meet my boy Braveheart.
Wow.
So I had the pleasure of being over there in South Africa for a couple of weeks, working predominantly with him and the lions, but I was working with elephants, I was working with the monkeys, with the land. I was working, it was the Christ consciousness that we were
Right.
working on, and bringing that in and working on the land. There's been so much bloodshed
Hmm.
uh, in Africa over the years, and it was very much working with the people, with the land. Didn't know that bit until I got there. I thought I was going to work with the animals, and I did, but there was so much work with the people that was needed, and with the land itself, just helping to clear and cleanse that energy, and to bring whatever needed to come down into that area. So just amazing, and to actually be with Braveheart was just very emotional when we kind of met for the first time. It was just wonderful.
Wow. So when you met him, obviously with him being in the sanctuary, were you able to get close to him, or were you in a vehicle? How did that happen?
Amazingly divinely guided as that they are,
Hmm.
because yes, it was a conservation. There was 72 lions in this place, so it was massive. The land that this guy had, and just worshipped his lions, and so they were fenced, but obviously
Yes.
big fencing,
Yes.
and they were put into prides. So 72 lions weren't obviously all together. They
Hmm.
were all in their different prides. Braveheart, he had the biggest pride. It was him and his five girls. And so we could see them all from like the fencing.
Yes.
But then when the week that, because I lived with them for a week, and when a friend, she was with me, and we got the opportunity to be inside his camp. So we went on in a tractor, an open tractor. I was sat on the wheel arch, and there was Braveheart. I've got a photograph of him like straight down in front of me, where you can see the tire of the tractor. And I would say I'm sat on top of that tire, so close. and just looking straight at me. So it was amazing to actually be there with him in his camp with no fencing in between us. And yeah, I was so grateful for that opportunity because it just then takes it to another level.
Yes, another level. A completely another level, Kirsty. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. So what happened, obviously, once you did all that and then you came back, did you have to integrate again what had happened and what you did there?
Yeah, it was exhausting being there. Um, not in a a negative way, but
Mm,
there for 2 weeks, getting tireder and tireder each day. Um, it was getting stage in the second week. We were going to bed at 7 in the evening, to just to be able to cope with the various
mm,
energies that were moving through us. So when I came back, I had to kind of integrate a lot of that because it was, yeah, very exhausting.
yes.
What was moving through, because if you open up, that we're just a vessel, and
Mm,
so they're moving through whatever energy, whatever downloads need to come in. So there was a recuperation period that needed to everything just assimilate and kind of just
yes.
come back in.
Wow. So then we've got a whale, we've got a lion. So was there anywhere else that you were then said, right, okay, you need to go?
No, I haven't had any more big kind of missions come up for, well, not animal ones for this year. I know I've got a gorilla in my future. She
Really?
she keeps on kind of popping in, but I know that it's not time yet to go and see her.
Right.
So I know that that will be coming up at some point in the future. This year or the beginning of this year, it's going to be May. I'm going to Egypt I've got guided to go there to, so goodness knows what kind of awakenings and stuff are going to happen there. We're going to be in the Temple of Isis, Temple of Hathor, inside the pyramids, uh, Valley of the Kings, all of that, working with the Nile, working with the Red Sea. So that's going to be, I feel, quite activating, a lot of
Most,
remembering,
mm,
because
most
as you'll be
definitely.
aware, there's
Mm,
loads of us that had, when Atlantis kind of fell, went to Egypt. So I know I've had lots of Egyptian lifetimes. Obviously, all my lifetimes in Atlantis. So I'm really curious to see how I feel being back home again, I suppose, in that land.
mm. Wow. Yes, I'm sure, like you say, that will be phenomenal. And I can already see to the fact of like why there is another book.
Yeah,
I can like it, yeah, I can see where this is really going. Yeah, you're going to the next book is just going to be as good as the first, but it's like you say, the reason why obviously there is a series of books because I I feel, I don't know what you think, is it's literally it's just a series of activations basically.
wow, I hadn't thought of it like that. But yeah, huge confirmation just coming through
Mm. And
on
I've
that.
gone all goosey again from top to bottom. Yes,
Yeah,
it's like massive. The information. Mm.
that makes a lot of sense. And whether it's the next book or the next one, but one of them is going to be like practically purely channeled.
Mm.
That they want. I haven't been given any more information than that, but
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's one that's going to be mostly channeled, whether
Mm-hmm.
from different beings or just one. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm. It will be from the what I am getting. It will be different beings. It won't just be one, but they'll be coming together for a very powerful activation, and it's like it's an initiation
Yeah,
all rolled into one. I mean, the first book obviously is already very powerful, but it's like it's coded to lead on to the next one. So for people who are watching this series of Kirsty Lilith's book is going to be pretty amazing, because this first one that is out is the start of and I think there's more than two. I
Yes.
think there's way more than two. I don't know what the information that you've received around that.
Yeah, I've got like more than two.
Mm.
I'm just kind of, we're parking that at the minute
Yes.
because I can't get my head around it. But now I know that there's more than the two. I'm thinking,
Mm.
oh, I'm rubbish at English. I'm thinking, why are you wanting me to write these things? I'm not very good at it.
But that's the thing about it, isn't it? That because it's channeled, you know, the word, you don't really have to worry about that so much, do you? Once you get into the place, because
Mm,
the words literally they just come through. And it's like I was saying to you beforehand, when I've received that and I've had to look up the words, you know, when I finished. So on that respect, you kind of, like you said, once you move out of the way, the English goes out the window, doesn't it? Because you're just receiving the information, and we're the vessel, the tool, and everything to be able to scribe that information down into a book. But
mm.
but it's like I say, it like I've got at least four. Yeah, you'll be pleased to know.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Yes. So and obviously that's why your trip to Egypt is on the cards 100% for the next one.
Yeah, that only came in 2 weeks ago with the Egypt.
Mm,
Wasn't on my horizon at all, but then just came in, and then now it's booked and already. So I'm very excited as to what that how that unfolds and what that brings in for me.
mm. Oh wow. I'm looking. I can't wait to get my hands on your book to read that. But I'm ahead of myself. I'm thinking of the next one.
Yeah, we're on book 2 and 3.
Yes. Oh, grief. So with this book, I know that obviously you've bought various ascended masters in through it. So will you, obviously, without giving everything away, just explain who've you bought through, and just if you can, somebody wants to come in.
Yes, that's Sabrina. We are honoured. She doesn't normally partake in kind of sessions, so
Really?
it's obviously important whatever
Yes.
we're discussing.
Mm,
So yeah, I was very I work very much with the divine masculine at the moment. So they kind of came in and said who who wanted to channel. So one of my main guys is Yeshua,
yes.
Jesus. So I think he channels the first chapter that's channeled is come through from him. Then there's also Metatron, and then there's Lord Maitreya and Melchizedek and Nagwal himself. So they are the five boys. And because the book, it's on about the divine union, so the masculine and the feminine. So I then asked, okay, what girls are wanting to come through. So then I had the goddesses come forward, who I have worked with as well, which is Isis, Kuan Yin, Kali, Mary Magdalene, and then my girl Lilith herself, who that's how my namesake is. So they were the five goddesses that stepped forward to channel their chapters. And what I find amazing, if you think there's sort of 10 voices that are coming through, how they have their own unique perspective, their unique kind of voice, even though they're all talking about the same subject, in a way that I like how you can distinguish between their voices.
Mm. Wow.
which to me, it just gives confirmation as a channel, that I'm not kind of like making it all up and just kind of channeling one being and
Mm,
putting loads of different people's names on it.
mm.
It's nice that when I read it back, it's quite distinctive.
I'm gonna go with something here, which is very unusual what I'm about to say to you. Has she got something to tell you?
Yes, funny that you should yeah, mention that. But I think it's something to share with your people or whoever's going to watch this.
I feel that really strongly. That's like I say.
Yeah, because it says she doesn't normally come up. She's not a lap cat or anything. Okay, so this is Sabrina, but I'm just going to have a tune in and see what she wants to say. Okay, my girl. Yeah, she's saying that she's actually transmitting codes with her being here. So she's downloading them into kind of me, but the frequency is going through into this recording. So she's downloading information into, because she's very much, I have the two cats. She downloads codes. She transmits codes into me. She works with Gaia. She's very much the kind of transmitter uh, of that. And she's saying that she is working with everybody that is going to be watching this. Wow, really? Sorry, she's never come through and said anything like that before. Yeah, there's something about what she is doing that is working with everybody that will be watching this recording to activate an awakening within them. Well, okay, thank you. Wherever they are on their journey, it's kind of going to, regardless really of whether they buy the book or not, it's it's like this activation that is happening already through whatever she is transmitting through the waves in how we're communicating. And she's saying that it is changing times on your planet, that this is the time to be here and to allow this opening, this awakening. And she's saying that there is huge, we think that we've been through enough a change already. That bit's me. She's saying there is huge change on the horizon. You will not recognize this planet in so many years. I'm getting decades times, but when we look back, we will not recognize the planet. And she said it's starting now. She's not taking away all the work that we've done to get to that at this point, but there's something very significant I'm getting from it about this year that we're going to look back and go, wow, this is kind of where it started. Oh,
Yes, exactly.
and it's interesting. As soon as she did it, she's gone. I
Mm.
won't see her again now for several hours.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for allowing that to come through and you getting that message that she had something that she needed to say.
It was I have never experienced anything quite as strong because I've not really, mind you, I say that. I was just about to say I'm not an animal communicator, but I suppose with my dogs, I have actually received information. So I suppose, in the fact that we are open anyway and we do this,
Yeah.
but that itself was uber strong, like very, very strong to the fact. That's why I say I've never like experienced and to the fact of said to anybody that there's something that needs to be said.
We both said that we're open to wherever it needs
Yes.
to go, this conversation. I know that she's mega powerful, but because I'm used to, as you'll be, holding quite intense energies and bringing them through. When she comes and downloads stuff into me, I get a cracking headache. So I know that whatever she's doing, it's very powerful and intense just because of how my body reacts to it. And it's not like my body's not used to holding these vibrations. But yeah, I know, my God, I've got a cracking headache again. Then as soon as it's kind of integrated, headache goes.
Like I understand to the fact of that, to the because like she's been put in the middle of us. That's exactly, you know, the three of us. So the three people it takes to manifest. And the fact of obviously what we do with our energies and everything else, but also which is, I'm smiling because this is to do with the connection of Metatron. Yeah. So this is very, as we expected, it's going to be a very unusual chat. So be aware, everybody out there, like I said. So it's not only just Kirsty Lilith's book, but like we've just experienced, this like really does happen. And the fact of, you know, the animals on the earth that hold these frequencies, and you've just seen that there and experienced that and will experience this, that it's not very often, like you said, that she ever comes and does that. And it was like so strong. So again, once people have watched this and integrated these energies, you are going to experience some form of activation. So why I'm saying this is be aware. And it's like we say to our clients, when something like this happens, you might experience something of a detox effect, whether it be physical, energetic, but be aware, lots of water, bringing emotions up, all kinds of weird and wonderful things but could happen. So again, just keep that in mind and work your way through it. Write down whatever comes to you, because I've got a feeling that people will be getting some form of information where they will be writing things down. So be aware of that. And again, whatever your experience, put it in the comments, and I can't wait to hear what is going to happen. So wow, that was just something else.
I wasn't expecting that at all. But it's obviously meant to be.
100%, like say, yes.
They always know who's going to be watching this. It's not just me and you that's part of this. They always know who exactly is going to be watching it at what point and what's going to be activated within them. It just blows my mind. It's phenomenal.
That's what I said to you earlier. I'm forever shaking my head. Yes. It just continues and continues, doesn't it? It is so amazing. Wow. So you are definitely going to have to come back on again. And once you return from Egypt, I feel I've got, my head is just like exploding. I've got so much going on. So, wow.
Yeah, that would be amazing to share what happens in Egypt. And say I'm just so excited and so open about what is going to occur there.
I always find it really interesting that I say to people, and I'm sure you experience the same as well, that I see it all like a massive jigsaw. And we're all given these pieces, and the guides are always brilliant at putting people together with the right pieces and things just like this, and things happen at the right time. And at this moment in time, this is happening constantly, and I'm sure you'll experience the same. It is ramping up to an unbelievable level, how people are literally just put in front of you, the right time, the right place, for something that we just trust the process. And this is
Yeah.
this is really an amazing piece of evidence to the fact if you trust the process and surrender to whatever is meant to happen. And this just goes to show with what's happened already and everything that we've been talking about. But those jigsaw pieces at the moment for me, because in some of my other interviews that are not out yet, but I have a huge connection with somebody who again came into my life purely by was actually Janie.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up to the fact of it was the Hathors that she was bringing through.
Wow.
Mm. And then all this has come about, and the voice that she brings, this amazing, she says she can't sing, but then when she channels and brings this through, the voice that she brings through is phenomenal. But all these, like I say, there is a bigger plan at work here with these pieces, and it's like everybody that I'm coming to chat with or to interview, it's another piece of the puzzle, which again, you know, is on a level is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's like you say, the jigsaw puzzles. I see it's like the webs of light kind of going, and we're just all connected, and how it all comes together at exactly the right time. And you meet certain people on your path. And I love it when you meet somebody and you know that you've been together before, and you know that you've traveled before together in whatever time and space. And I just love those soul connections that you get. And I feel now, because it's to me, it's happening more and more. It's like that they're bringing us all together,
Yes.
and for the right conversations, the right kind of work coming together, and all at the right time.
Very much so. And this seems to be the thread that is running through everything at the moment, that and the information that I've been getting, and now what I'm doing with this channel. And again, if people know the story, this just happened. People don't believe me. I literally went from 30 subscribers to where I am now in a matter of months.
Wow.
My Facebook got hacked and taken down, and literally couldn't get it back. And within a matter of days, my YouTube channel started just going up and up and up. But again, through a video that Janie had like, I said, oh, you know, is it all right? Can I put that on? And that just started to skyrocket everything, and we were where we are now. So the universe had a lot to do with this by putting everything in place. And this is all being brought about to be able to do these collaborations, to have these chats, these talks, and to put it out there that we are a collective consciousness. We are coming back into the fact of this huge sisterhood, this working together, not being apart anymore, and the more of us that come together, the more powerful that we are as a force for the light, and also the divine feminine that now needs to be more reintroduced. And when I say the divine feminine, people often think that that's just a female thing, but I'm talking the divine feminine in the masculine, as well as just the female aspect of us. But it's very much sisterhood, very much collaboration, very much working together for the divine good of everything, not just Earth, way beyond the universe, the multiverse, Christ consciousness, all of it put together.
Yeah, completely agree.
So there's more to come. There's lots more to come. And I'm so looking forward to it. Wow. So, like I say, congratulations on that book, and watch out, people. And there will be a link in the description underneath this video, so you can go on and purchase the book straight from there. And there will also be Kirstie's information, all her websites, all her socials on there, so you can go and check out what Kirstie does and her wonderful work.
Thank you.
But like I say, I have enjoyed this so much.
It's been amazing.
Yes,
Gone to
it's been a
places I didn't
blast.
even think.
Yeah, it's been a blast. It really has. And I am sure that the people that watch this will really enjoy it and really have quite an experience after the fact. But I will say to everybody watching this that if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. But the biggest thing that I ask you is that pesky little thumbs up. Will you please press for all notifications? Because otherwise I'm finding, even with what I'm subscribed to, you don't see it unless you've actually pressed for all notifications. It just gets lost in, like I call it, the YouTube multiverse. So if you are interested in these interviews, these chats and what I'm doing, then please press for all notifications, because what is coming up in the months to come is just phenomenal. And we have got so many amazing, interesting people like Kirstie that has an amazing story and an amazing ability that puts it out to the world. And thank you so much for this, Kirstie. Thank you, thank you. And
Yeah.
I really look forward to our next chat.
Thank you, Melanie. It's just been absolutely amazing. And yeah, so grateful that you invited me on. So thank you.
That's my pleasure. So everybody, till the next time, thank you so much for watching. And again, please like it. I would love to see all your comments. I answer as many as possible as I can. And I will see you next time. So thank you very much and bye.